Welcome back. Waiting for the Long Night Moon tells powerful stories of resilience, culture, and hope. I'm joined now by author Amanda Peters with more. Thank you so much for joining us today, Amanda.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, this story is it's a collection of short stories, and they span such a vast span of time and these various characters, and there's so much happening. What inspired you to put these all together?
They're all inspired by different things at different times. I actually wrote these before I wrote my novel, The Berry Pickers, so there would just be something that would happen that would inspire me to write a story, and I never really kind of anticipated that they'd be out in the world. I was just writing because I love to write. So, for example, one of the stories is about the relationship between the Mi'kmaq people and the Acadians in Nova Scotia. So I wrote about the expulsion of 1755, the Acadian expulsion, and the Mi'kmaq participation in it, because there was a celebration of that happening near my house. So they're just very, very different inspirations.
I understand you grew up in Nova Scotia.
Yes, I still live there too.
Still live there. Okay, so a long way out to come to Hamilton. We appreciate you being here.
No, thanks for having me. It's great.
And there's a number of stories here. Are there any themes that you really want to pull through all of these stories that you want the audience to take away?
Yeah, as a writer, I don't really write the theme. I just write a story. But obviously, there's themes of murdered or missing Indigenous women, of resilience and cultural resurgency. So I just hope that people, when they read them, that they kind of understand at least one little part of Indigenous experience through fiction, and maybe that would encourage people to go and learn more.
Yeah, and that one is, some of those themes that you're mentioning there, I found, at least when in my reading, was in the nominal short story, The Waiting for the Long Night Moon. Can you tell me about writing that one?
Yeah, that one actually was the Indigenous Voices Award winner for 2021. That's why it's called that. That one was inspired by just thinking about residential schools and what would happen to an older person who would feel that. And I read them in first person narrative so that I can like get into the character. So yeah, I love that story, and I love the relationship between nature and the character, and how kind he still is even though what's happened to him.
Yeah, I think that one's my favorite as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we've been talking before before the camera came up about some of how storytelling contributes to healing and empowerment, both within Indigenous communities and non-Indigenous communities. And you're saying you tell your students this all the time. Yeah,
I'm really obsessed with the concept that fiction helps people develop empathy, because if you read fiction, it's not like reading facts, right? Reading facts doesn't elicit emotional responses. It's just, this is a fact. But you can read fiction where it often is based on facts, and you can have an emotional reaction to it. You can live with that character. You can be with that character. You can understand that character's motivations and experiences. So yeah, I tell them, people who read fiction are better people.
That's a very good way to put it. Yeah. What are the things that you want people to empathize with when they are reading these stories?
Yeah, I just want them to understand, like, the stories go from pre-colonization to the current fight for water, clean water. So I just want people to perhaps read a story and then understand, and maybe go educate themselves, right? If you read a story and you enjoy it, and maybe you go and you research what's really happening in the fight for clean water, or what really happened during the residential schools. So if people are going and doing that and educating themselves based on my story, I feel like I've succeeded somehow.
Amazing. We have about 40 seconds left. I want to find out, where can you get this book?
Everywhere, chapters, online, independent bookstores. I always love to throw it for independent bookstores. I'm not from Hamilton in this area, so I don't know any from here. But
I have a small plug for one of our independent bookstores. I saw it at Epic Books on Lock Street recently as well, so that is one of our local ones. And where can we find your information? I
have a website, amandapetersauthor.com. I'm trying to keep it updated, but I'm crazy busy, but you can find a lot of information about me there.
Amazing. Okay, we'll get your information up on our website, as well as where you can find this book everywhere, as well as local independent bookstores. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll have more Morning Live for you coming up tomorrow.